Greetings. Welcome to Speak Nerd and Enter.
Welcome, Speak Nerd and Enter. To the far side, I don't know what side it's going to be if someone's looking at it. I know where I'm looking at it. It looks like he's on the wrong side. That's Mark. There you go with the double.
Oh, sorry, just one because we're talking about.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. His Pip Boy. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, next to him, Rich Curran. Rich, give a wave there. There you go. And of course, just back from his excursion visiting 1987's near future Michigan, where, as an independent contractor on a sacred mission to enact a program to revitalize and develop old Detroit, he found a kindred spirit and common cause with Senior President Richard Curran Jones of Omni Consumer Products, and where he was said to have spent time in contemplative meditation and self-examination, discovering and developing his personal philosophy, bitches leave. Proud owner of a 6000 SUX with the Blah Punked and optional Rally Fun Pack, known to have remarked more than once, "I'll buy that for $1." The K-Man.
Bravo.
Hello.
I prefer Dick Jones.
I'll have you know, I wrestled to try to find some way to fit you in there in a more salient way, Rich. I wrestled with that.
Thank you. Clarence
really
Boddicker would be proud. Very proud.
You know, but I just couldn't, because that's a tough one. Because, of course, there's the whole cop thing, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
There's the whole robot thing.
There is.
You know, because there are parts of you being replaced, of course, with mechanical bits.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, there's the part about you being a dick.
Most importantly.
Yeah.
And accurate.
That's right. Yeah. So I figured the best thing to do was to have the two of you, of course, in common cause, as I picture you. You know,
I revel in such attention. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So anyway,
like a warm blanket.
I was wondering, because I wanted to ask you all, as you're going about your day, doing whatever it is you people do.
And we lost him.
We may never know. Yeah.
Now I know.
I'll take the time to answer that.
Now
you didn't lose me. As you're going about doing whatever the hell it is you do during the day, you people. I love it when I was thinking about that, and I wanted to make sure I fit that in there, because of course, if there's anything in life that makes you want to punch someone right in the teeth, it's when they say "you people." As you're going about your day, have you ever bitten your lip on the inside and then continued throughout the day to every now and again bite that same now throbbing and inflamed area of the inside of your lip again and again until you are brought to within a hair's breadth of murderous rage?
Yes.
No,
far too often.
Yeah.
I have choked on my own spit, but I've never done that. I don't recall ever doing that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't recall biting the same.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 have, and you have not.
That I can't recall. No. Usually, if I bit,
3 of us are simply honest.
No, maybe
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
I think my teeth are actually a bit screwed up. That might be the issue. It's not that I'm not honest. I think my teeth are.
I don't think we need to stop
heading in a little bit more.
It goes a little further.
Okay. I'm not trying to be dishonest. I don't remember ever doing that.
Now, I know we've had some difficulty in getting copies of Gentleman Broncos. I know, but I think there's something that's far more important that we need to address. Something that's been knocking at the door that we need to have a hot take on. Of course, I'm talking about Gladiator 2 and the upcoming revivification. Thank you. You're welcome. Of that
vocabulary time,
that wondrous universe, that glorious project it's being graced, let's say that, with one of those actors, in my personal estimation, that is in that Walken realm.
I agree.
The realm that you want them to be in just about every movie, and you want them to be them. You don't want them to be a character. You want them to be exactly who they are and who they have always been in every character they have ever played. I, of course, am talking about Denzel Washington. He is attached to this. Yes, he is attached to this as apparently playing the protagonist of this movie. And I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. This is the first time he will have reunited with Ridley Scott in some time. I can't remember I can't remember the other project they did, but they have worked together before. So this is the first time in a long time that they're coming together to work on something again. What do you think? Are you excited by this news? Apprehensive, or you don't care? What do you think? The world wants to know. Let's start with the one who matters most, me. I think it's wondrous. Now, on to whoever wants, because at this point it doesn't really matter. Let's be honest. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll go as someone whose opinion probably matters least. I was unaware of Gladiator 2 until you brought it up. And I realized in today's day, and age, it is really easy to find out what movies are in the pipeline, what's being written, what's being produced. I actively don't look for that information. I wait until like the movies are almost ready to drop before I really start paying attention. Like, yeah, they're making this movie, and I'm like, whatever. It's going to be 3 years before it drops, so I'm not trying to get all the info like right away. So Gladiator 2 was not on my radar at all. You brought it up. Hey, I want to talk about this, and so I went and started to look it up. First thing, I'm really pissed off because you go to YouTube and it was Gladiator 2 trailer, and I'm like, oh, there's a trailer for it, and it's not a trailer for it. It's some fan put together stupid.
I hate when they do that
stuff from other movies, and the sound is all weird, and I'm like, this sounds awful, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what they're doing, And I'm so two of those, and now I'm pissed off at Gladiator 2 before I move on from YouTube and go to other places.
I hate those fan made.
I know, I hate those.
Do.
And
hate that.
Yeah, you got 2 luck clicks out of me, you bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my real take. Like, I'm here for it, but it's been 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I saw Napoleon, and I really wanted that to be good, and it sucked. It was awful.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, woo, what are they going to now? The cast looks good. They're bringing back the kid. He's all grown up.
Right.
And they're bringing back his mom. And so, like, there's going to be this tie-in to the original movie. I like Denzel, I like Pedro Pascal. I'm like, the ingredients are there for a great movie. My concern is I just saw Napoleon, and that was not a great movie. And we were all expecting the Gladiator, given the Napoleon, set in Napoleon times, and that's not what we got.
Sure.
But so like, I'm on the ingredients are there. I'm hopefully optimistic, but I've been burned so often by so many people in the last 20 years of filmmaking. Yeah, that I'm like, okay, like even Michael Mann has let me down. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got that movie Black Hat just because Michael Mann was the director, and it had Thor as one of the actors in it. I was like, oh, he did Heat, man. This is going to be good. It was not. It was terrible, right? And I actually, it was awful. So, I hope it's good. I'm looking forward to it. Am I going to see it? Yes. Do I hope it's as good as it can be? Absolutely. It remains to be seen. So it comes out in November. So the release window to me matters. If it's coming out in the summer and it's coming out right before Christmas, those are the 2 big release windows where they're expecting to make a bunch of money. If it comes out in March, this is probably not a great movie. You know what I mean? We're like, oh, let's put it out somewhere. So that's my take on it.
Would you say it's on your list of I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out?
No, I will wait to see the first trailer, because all I have is like who's in it, and like I don't even really have a synopsis, like what's it about. I know that it's got, the little boy all grown up and his mom's in it, and Denzel Washington's in it, and Maximus's type of character is going to be played by Pedro Pascal. Like he's the guy that's the gladiator, I guess, in this. So but I don't know what it's about. I don't know, what's their take on it. So I'm waiting for a trailer, which will at least give me a flavor for it. Does that make sense?
An actual trailer or a fan trailer? Because I can give you
I
plenty
love
of
the
fan
trailers. They're so good that they're not. Yeah.
Yes. So what do you think, Kelly?
I mean, did it need a second one?
No.
Did the first one make money?
Well, okay, that's your bar for a movie, but I mean, is it?
That is not my bar for a movie. That is
you just said
Hollywood's bar for a movie.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said it. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm saying Goonies made money. I don't want another Goonies.
Yeah, no, look,
Princess Bride made money. I don't want another Princess Bride.
No, but they've tried though.
They have.
I know they have. Yeah.
But that's my thing. I mean, did it need another treatment? The story. I mean, I thought it was fine as a standalone. It wasn't a cliffhanger from the first one where I was thinking, well, I wonder how that turns out 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But to Mark's point, I mean, you got some good people in it. The only thing you can do is really tank it. So I'll wait for it to be on a streaming service.
Yeah, and one of my concerns is it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
If it had come out a few years closer to, the hype of the original, and that can cut both ways, right? Oh, this was really good. The Jaws came out. Oh, Jaws 2. Let's hurry up and get that in there. Not saying that was a great movie or anything, but they capitalized on the success and popularity of Jaws to bring out Jaws 2 as an
Yeah, but you only accentuate, right? I mean, the Jaws thing is a good point because in those sequels, right, where you're just going for the next paycheck, you're really just accentuating the more gritty aspects of the movie, right? We're not taking the story in any sort of interesting depth. I mean, everything so far that I've looked at regarding Gladiator 2, it's Gladiator 1. They should just call it a remake
with some new actors.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
right.
reboot.
So part of my concern is we've lost the momentum of Gladiator, which was huge in the early 2000s. That was a huge movie. And rightfully so. I don't want to take anything away. It was a great movie, and I, thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's been 20 years. So we're not going for maybe we're going for the nostalgia crowd. All those people who saw it then are now 20 years older. Or is because it's not a remake where you're like, oh, we had this old, we remade The Thing X number of years later. And now it's a completely different thing. This isn't going to be that, right? This is going to be capitalizing on the previous movie, but 20 years later, and again, Haley Joel Osment? I don't know what the kid's name is, the actor. But I know. I'm seeing his face. But he's okay. But she's the right age now to be all, I can see that you actually have a child from the first movie that can be a major part of this movie. So maybe that 20 years is perfect. I don't know. It's a factor, but I don't know if it's a factor in favor or a factor against, I guess.
I mean, look, when you made the first one, if there was a compelling reason to make a second, that would have been talked about all this time, right? We're 20 years into this.
Right. They've been trying to do a remake since then as well. They've been.
Yeah.
But all Hollywood, it comes and goes. It's talk that doesn't happen.
Right, because there's nothing there.
This is the only thing that I'll say as far as the sequel part. They have had plenty of opportunity to do a sequel in the interim years, and no one has wanted to do it on the creative side because they felt like there was nothing there to bite into. There was nothing there really to tell or do that they felt was worthy of the original story. So maybe that speaks to something there. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
Because there's.
Do you want my thoughts on this, or
not really?
No,
not really. Let's move on to the next topic.
We know your thoughts.
I do have
your thought. That's it.
No. Rich, I do want your thoughts, but I have one thought as I'm looking at the cast list. What the hell is Matt Lucas doing in this? Like, if there's one person that I think would never fit in a Gladiator film of any sort, it would be Matt Lucas.
And that's the surprise. He is the meanest SOB.
It's a surprise star of the show.
We'll put him on Kelly's Timothy Chalamet list.
No, I mean, I like Matt Lucas as an actor. I think he was great in Les Mis, but it's but doesn't
Oh
belong in
yeah,
Gladiator.
I'm now. I had to look him up to see who you're talking about, and okay, yeah.
I mean, maybe he's a great comedic actor.
Now
Yeah,
I
could
can
be,
see
yeah.
him in a toga as some Roman. Yeah, like
Biggest
Low-level
dickus.
administrator.
yeah. He's
What do
gonna
you
be the
think?
dude. No, he's gonna be the dude that's screams out to the crowd. In this corner we have these dudes, and in that corner we have these dudes, and I can see it.
That's true. He could be a politician. It's true.
I'll give you that.
What do you think? What do you think, Rich?
So I'm going to surprise you. I am cautiously optimistic about this. Usually I'm Nancy negative,
Right?
on some of these things.
Cynical, sure.
Sometimes, yeah. However, I Gladiator has long been one of my favorite movies.
How long has that been down there, Rich?
The whole time. So it's long been one of my favorite movies. I really do enjoy that film. As far as the sequel goes, they were discussing a sequel not too long after it came out with Jimon Hansu. They were going to follow Juba's character and his journey after he left the arena. Because you remember he survived at the very end. But the whole idea, the film, I mean, it resonates with me. The whole man in the arena theory, that all resonates with me very deeply. So
That's how you were brought up,
I guess,
as a gladiator. Yeah.
Yes. In the fighting.
I remember
pit.
the first day I
Like,
met
the
Rich,
fighting-
I was like, do you like gladiator movies?
That's why I like
His way out of
Highlander
the
so
arenas
much.
of
Because,
upstate New York.
yeah, that's how I like. That's why I like Highlander so much because I'm of the Kurgan's people, and I was tossed into fighting pits with dogs to fight for me. But no, honestly, I think I have seen the actual. I think the actual trailer is out there, not a fan made one. I believe I watched it the other night, or if it wasn't, it was really good. I don't know. It looks like it could be. I'm glad they're maintaining the characters from one movie to the next, so it's not just a straight. We're just going to tell another story in the realm, right? There's some connective tissue there. The fact that period with Marcus Aurelius, the passing of Marcus Aurelius, and into the downfall of the Republic is one of my favorite periods of Roman history in terms of military history. Is very interesting to me, and the fact that and I found out the other day, just a couple of days ago, that everyone mispronounces Denzel Washington's name. He says his name is Denzel, but his mother, his father was also named Denzel, and every time she called them, they would both answer. So she started calling him Denzel, and that's why but his actual name is supposed to be Denzel.
Sounds like his mom changed her mind, and his name is actually Denzel.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was named after his father, apparently, but that's neither here nor there. He's one of my favorite actors, as you pointed out, Sean.
Yes.
He is one of the great actors of our time, in my opinion. Pretty much everything he's in, I enjoy. Conversely, I don't like him. I don't like him being cast in Hannibal because it just doesn't fit the character. But it
may work.
It may work. It's just historically, it's inaccurate. That's the problem.
That's all right. I don't mind so much for this. I really don't, because the whole thing.
No, in this
has
it
never
doesn't matter. No,
the whole thing, right? The whole thing has not been historically accurate. Well, it's had an accurate atmosphere, but not accurate as far as by the numbers for.
Well, no, I mean Hannibal,
Marcus Aurelius, or Commodus, or any of that, who were all real people. There were
plenty of African descended gladiators. They collected people from all over the world to fight in the pit. So that doesn't. I mean, Jimon Hansu was great in his part, and he was
no. I'm just talking about in general for Hannibal. I'm just saying in general because there was
Hannibal.
there was a Commodus, there was a Marcus Aurelius, and all of that. so the first one took care of that for me because it was respectful to the setting and felt realistic to the setting. And so I really didn't have as much of an issue with it. It didn't open with the whole Braveheart thing of, this is a true story, but those who
Yeah.
won are the ones who write the, the histories
yeah.
and all that. It wasn't doing that kind of thing. It was just kind of telling its own little thing. So I really don't have as much of an issue with that.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, that's a side issue. As far as this film goes, I'm not a huge fan of Pedro Pascal after his behavior of late. So I don't know if he's going to boost this movie up or drag it down. He seems to be in almost everything lately. Like I said, I love Denzel Washington.
That's insightful.
All right. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm even willing to forgive him the Equalizer movies.
Oh, I love the Equalizer movies. I think they're great.
Pedro
Pascal was in the second one.
And that is why you fail.
No. I think they're great films. Great action adventure films. But at the end of the day, this one, it's touching on a topic that I really like, the history of the Roman Empire in that era. It's got some great actors. Mm-hmm. And hopefully Ridley Scott won't screw the pooch and, give a crap story.
For Ridley Scott, well, let me ask you this, because you guys have seen the trailer for the new Alien movie, right?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen that, Mark?
I didn't know it was out.
If I have, I've only seen it once, and it's mixed in with all the other stuff that I've seen, and I don't have a clear picture of it.
Well, I guess
Alien Romulus, that one?
Yeah.
I didn't know the trailer was out yet.
Yeah.
You sure you didn't see a fan-made trailer?
I'm positive. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could consider, Ridley Scott a fan, but
the ultimate fan.
Yeah.
Of his own work.
But then I can't ask you about that. But I can ask you.
No, moving on.
I can ask you. Ridley Scott seems to be prolific and unafraid to go ahead and make something and see how it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
He just does. He's kind of like one of those guys who seems to have the memory of a goldfish that's necessary to just keep swinging, and forget about what happened before, hoping that he's going to hit something out of the park, And he does. There are times he absolutely does. Gladiator, Alien, all of that as an example, did great. Blade Runner as well. He's got some really good stuff to his credit. Do you think that's a benefit or a negative? I can't ask you about what you think about the Alien one, but do you think it's a benefit or a negative that he's so willing to do that?
I think it's positive. I think it's positive. I mean, all I can say is if Mr. Scott sees this, please, Mr. Scott, don't mess it up. I love this movie so much. Don't mess it up.
Well, I have a good authority that he watches this podcast.
He should.
Yeah.
It would teach him a thing or two.
He's one person. That's right. The one person next to Mark's wife.
I think it's a positive because he's.
Yeah.
He also likes Kelly.
Everybody does. The only thing that anyone likes about this podcast. But, I think it's a positive because he's willing to take risks. Obviously, they keep throwing money at him to do it. So someone thinks the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a positive or a negative, Sean, based on the motivation. Like Rich said, if you're just doing it because somebody's going to throw money at you and your motivation is money, I mean, it's a positive for you. Of course, you're turning out some crap content here and there. If he's doing it just because, if his thought process is, why should I stifle the creative process? Let me just try this and see what happens. Then, I mean, I do think it has a net positive because it is a greater probability you're going to introduce something into storytelling that wasn't there before.
Throw enough darts.
Exactly.
The bullseye.
And he's directed so many good movies. Like his stinkers are surprising.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Nobody went to Napoleon expecting it to be. And again, part of that might have been the marketing. Had it been, Napoleon's love story with Josephine was the point of this movie, I think we all would have been like, oh, okay, cool. It was what it was. Yeah. But we were expecting a war movie from the trailers and from the marketing. We were expecting more battles. And that wasn't the point of the movie. You know what I mean? So I can't even lay the blame necessarily 100% on him, because I see the movie that he made and it was fine.
It's marketed wrong.
I went in expecting something different. I went in expecting Gladiator.
Yeah.
Right. And instead I didn't get Gladiator. I got, this, I don't know, a tragic love story set against the backdrop of the Napoleonic Wars.
Romeo and Juliet and funny hats.
Yeah.
I find him an unusual artist in that he seems to be very willing to work within the Hollywood framework. And he enjoys, as a matter of fact, I've heard him say he enjoys trying to keep the budget down, trying to be I'm not saying as a numbers manager, but as someone who tries to find a solution, so that he's able to be effective within what he has, that kind of thing, that he takes a bit of pride in that. But he definitely comes across to me as someone who cares more about the story. Like with listening to the stuff where he was talking about Alien and bringing the actual storyboards that he had for the chest burster scene, because he knew that was going to, play well and, give him more budget.
And he didn't tell the other actors that it was going to happen too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as his artistic bent versus the business side, and is this going to be a paycheck? Likewise with Legend. And Legend has two versions, the European and the American version, because he did not want to do the American version. The European one is more of what he wanted, to have actually come out. And Blade Runner, as another example, how many versions of Blade Runner do we have? Because he kept going back and, working on that and saying, oh, this is the definitive, edition, or this is my vision, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I feel like I'd rather have him take the chances. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, okay. And maybe that's just because I know him, or I feel I know him better now as a creator, that I feel more comfortable with him taking the chance. So I'm willing to forgive the misses because I understand his, or I think I understand his motivations a bit more.
Yeah, and I will say that probably because Napoleon is my most recent experience, and it was not a great one.
Sure,
that's coloring my perception. But I'm on IMDb looking at everything he's directed, and I'm like, oh wow, like there's some here I didn't realize he directed.
Yeah.
Because he's done a lot, and I'm like, okay, like he's definitely more wins than losses. Even if some of these movies are like, that's not really my cup of tea or whatever. Like, I got to hand it to the guy. He's prolific. He's working. He puts out a lot of good movies. And again, I don't think Napoleon was a bad movie. I think I was expecting the different movie than what he made.
Well, the trailer made it look like Sharp's rifles, and it ended up being
right. It did. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'd have to rewatch that with kind of different expectations so I could get a better feeling for the movie he made. You know what I mean? So I freely admit but like he did The Martian. He was the director on that, which it's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like that is a great movie. And just how do you handle having an actor who's alone?
I don't remember you saying The Martian when we went over movies.
I'm not sure if I did or not. I don't know if it made my list or not.
That up with that other stupid space one that he was talking about.
Space
no, like, but it's one of those ones that I'll rewatch often. I'm doing something, puttering around the house, I'll throw that one on. Because it's a really good movie. I really enjoyed the book, and it was very, for whatever. But again, just the craftsmanship of how do I make a movie with an actor who's alone, right? It's I Am Legend and The Martian are the two that have done the most of that.
Moon,
where it's like who do you talk to, who do you interact with, And so I'm doing the captain's log thing where he's talking to the camera, which they made work, and I Am Legend, he's got the dog or whatever. But I mean, that's not an easy thing to pull off. And that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
From a craftsmanship standpoint of storytelling and kind of getting, because you could really just have that be super boring in the wrong hands. It's like, okay, you've got no one. And going back to the whole Amazon thing with the Sisters of Silence, in my mind, I was thinking, because there was that whole leak about, the reason for some of these changes was because the Amazon studios wanted a female in power armor and they didn't want to use Sisters of Silence because they don't talk. And that got me thinking, I'm like, there's so much you could do with, kind of voiceover or
They use
what's
sign
the other one?
language.
The battle can't sign language, but I'm like, there's a lot that with a good director would have plenty of room to work there and to be able to do good things. That's not an that strikes me as a failure of imagination and creativity, rather than we can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I can think of 100 ways you could do that. Right? That would be compelling and
it would be very
good.
cool to look at.
Yeah,
and you need someone who's willing to take those chances. That's what I like about Ridley Scott. He's not a one-note kind of director. Yes, he does a lot of science fiction stuff,
like Martin Scorsese.
What's that?
Like Martin
he's
Scorsese.
one note. Yeah,
true.
I want to make a movie about some mobsters.
That's true. Now I'll make a movie about some Irish mobsters. I'm
going to do the ones in New York, and then these are in Vegas. And
however, he's got the one in there which was about Flo, and what was Flo and the diner? What was
Mel's place?
Mel's place.
Alice. It was Alice.
That's it. Yes. That's it. Yeah. He did the movie that came from.
So, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
It's my
that was I remember when I found that out, I was like, really? This is one of his? Really? Where's De Niro?
Classic. I used to watch Alice all the time when I was a kid.
That's a great show.
Yeah, same.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was interesting. I saw that and just wanted to get your take on it and see what you thought.
Well, there you go.
I thought it was interesting to me when I thought about it that I was so willing to forgive however the movie was going to turn out. Even before I saw anything about it, it was like, meh, if it turns out great, wonderful. If not, so what? He tries so many times and hit so many out of the park. And I thought that was odd that I felt that way as opposed to others. And I was trying to figure out why.
Well, see,
I was surprised by myself.
If it's just a retelling of the first movie, and here's why this bugs me a little bit, because Lou and I were having lunch the other day, and we decided to watch A Quiet Place while we were eating lunch. And I haven't seen it in a while, so I've forgotten some of the things that bug me about that movie. But they really bugged Lou a lot of things about that movie. And then when you go and see A Quiet Place 2, you realize it's still just A Quiet Place. They're just retelling the story. They've moved some bits around, but it's the same bloody story. And so there's this element of, don't try to get me to go sit in a seat and watch something for an hour and a half when it's simply just, I could just go rewatch Gladiator if I felt the need to do so. Mm-hmm. Do something interesting with the story. Move it forward. And if anybody could do it, I mean, I think Ridley Scott can, because I agree with you, is that it's a wide variety of things that he's tried. And certainly if you're not feeling constrained, maybe you will do that, but we'll see.
When you brought this
I'm actually more interested in this movie, having had this discussion and looking into Ridley Scott, his catalog of films. I feel like I was a little soured on Napoleon. But I can also admit the reason why was the marketing versus the movie, and so looking at all this, I'm like, okay, and
they're French.
It was about the French. Yeah.
You are a French fan.
Yeah, so I'm a little more optimistic about it than I was at the beginning of this conversation, I will say.
So
hopefully he uses that opportunity and buoys up your expectations.
Yeah, don't squander it.
That's right.
When you brought this up, Sean, all I could think of was the Peter Graves bit from Airplane. Hey Jimmy, do you like Gladiator movies?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he's gotten that plenty. I'm sure he has. I'm sure it's like going up to Christopher Walken and doing a Walken impression at this point.
Yeah,
he looks at you. Okay, that's great. Can I finish ordering my cheeseburger now? Can you bring me my fries?
My cheeseburger is getting cold. I'm hungry.
Now, the other thing I wanted to discuss, and then we'll open the floor to how we close the show. Kelly.
What?
K-Man, my friend, my beloved brother. We've been waiting so long to hear your opinions on Fallout.
Oh, I loved it, man.
You did. There it is. See, you know what? I need to get streamers and a flashing light.
It's
So
like
that
it's like
whenever-
a rainbow in the rain.
Yes,
It's
so that
amazing.
whenever something like that happens, I can celebrate it for not the anomaly,
We need the air
because
horn.
I don't think it's an anomaly. For the joyous event, the joyous occasion that it is, that we can market and actually have like a calendar of the day
Some
of.
piece of entertainment has managed to pierce that crusty exterior
The exterior.
and reach the gooey nougat within.
There we go.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty well done. I think they over accentuated some of the sexual components of the game for the show, right? But that notwithstanding, I think the show was pretty on point to what the game was. There were, even down to little tiny elements within the show, such as her interaction with people just living in the wastelands and things like, some of those just played out how they did in the game. I mean, it was so well done, and that I actually went back to the game. I haven't played Fallout in years, and I went and booted that back up to see where I was in the whole scope of the storyline and things like that. So I thought it was really well done. I'm actually kind of looking forward to what they do with the season 2. I really liked the ghoul character. I forget his name.
Yeah. Walton Goggins.
Yeah, I'm not a really super fan of his as an actor, but I mean, I think he played that part to a T.
I like him as an actor.
Yeah, I like him
He's
too,
great.
but that's all right.
He's great in Predators and all the other TV shows he's been in.
I remember seeing him from Justified is where I
Justified and Predators is where I remember
became aware of him. Yeah, as an actor.
And the interplay between the vaults, which is something that you become aware of as you play the game and you dig into, because in the game you're coming into a vault after everything's already collapsed and gone to hell, right? Rare that you find one intact, and so to see how it all goes to hell, to see the storylines play out that you used to just read on a computer terminal in the game was good. I mean, there was a lot of upsides to it.
Yeah, and I thought the humor was pretty spot on.
Yeah,
just that little touch of ridiculousness, like paranoia.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I'll tell you, the thing that got me was the opening scene with the nuclear war as it starts. I thought, okay, if you're setting the tone with that was good. That was a great way to set the tone and bring people in, have them understand what the setting is, without just going to, okay, this is so many years after the event, and they just talk about it in hushed tones of the before times and all that.
And I thought they did a really good job with the Brotherhood of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
The power armor looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing missing at the moment are synths.
Is this the Kelly recognition sound?
No, I need something more visual. I need something more visuals. I need something to like pop and
in the background.
Streamers come down.
I'll see if I can learn After Effects and we'll put something in there. I don't know.
Release balloons from the ceiling or something.
I'm sort of bought in if I finish the entire thing. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, usually I'll get into a couple of episodes of something because everybody likes to say, Kelly, you're gonna love this. And then I sit there and look at him like, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. And you get a couple episodes in and then you're like, I got things to do, So, yeah. But no, I Indy and I watched it and we got through it pretty quick. I think over a couple days.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite bits out of the series was when they got to Vault 4. And, just how kind the overseer was. And it kept calling her Goosey. I love that. And, how he was going to banish her to the surface. And she started to say, about, Maximus. And he was like, of course, someone will carry your supplies to the surface for you. And he was the perfect casting for it. Dr. Spaceman from, 30 Rock, he was perfect casting for that, which I thought was what really helped the series. really good casting on the ghoul.
Yeah.
You know, that definitely made it without the emotional part, which was great, because you could have kept him as just this caricature kind of thing as a ghoul himself, but then showing him and where he was and how he got there and all that, it gave you an emotional time. And he was great, as you said. Whether you like him or not as an actor from his other stuff, you cannot deny that he really put some emotion into a character that would have been easy to not have, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
And he's almost playing two characters.
mhm.
In the
right.
flashback, he's one character, and in the ghoul
I do like
character is
the
different.
flashbacks too. I mean, the flashbacks also
Yeah.
add depth to the story.
Mhm.
I mean, it was really well done. Really well done. Of course, nowhere to go but down from here. So, I mean, we'll just see what happens in season 2.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But you know what? Having survived the whole debacle with Halo and Lord of the Rings and, the Rings of Power and all that, at least we have this moment,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And
And from a video game standpoint, how it's all losers.
Yeah.
Right? This is the high watermark, I
Yeah.
think, for a video game adaptation.
Well,
the
what do you think?
low watermark is Halo.
Last of Us is there too.
Yeah.
Again, 2 games I didn't play. Right, I didn't play Last of Us, and I didn't play any of the Fallout games. But as adaptations, they've both been great.
Yeah. Which one do you prefer, this or Last of Us?
I think I prefer this because
Yeah.
I
this
think I
is a
do
little
too.
more funny. It's a little
Yeah.
more, got some there's a lot. I think there's more room for entertainment.
I think there's more room
Whereas
for
Last of
discovery
Us is a little
too.
more serious. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
a dramatic story. This one is campy, funny, violent. Like all of that kind of stuff. I feel like there's more elements of entertainment in this story overall than Last of Us, which is serious with
Yeah.
occasionally someone will make a joke and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny, but it's not meant to be.
Yeah, just dark on dark.
There's nothing funny about that
Yeah.
setting, right?
Yeah.
Well, I like
the
I like
other
my
thing-
zombie
oh,
flicks
sorry.
I like my zombie flicks for sure, but they are, things like Last of Us, which was really good. It's still sort of Johnny one note. It's
That's exactly, yeah.
yeah.
And there weren't a lot of zombies in that. There was the one big scene where a horde of zombies attacked everybody, and then occasionally there's a onesie twosie zombie.
Right.
But it wasn't World War Z type things where it was all zombies all the time.
Right.
And again, having not played the game, I get it. That doesn't have to be that way. But I think Fallout on the whole was probably a little more up my alley.
It was also, I think, a little more creative. Last of Us was a vehicle to get you to the trolley car, problem. That's really what that was. This, however, the thing that I liked about this even more was that, as you mentioned, it's not just Johnny One Note, but because they set the premise for each of you is going to have numerous vaults so you can run your own experiments. So each one is theoretically its own setting and its own unique story, instead of, as you said, Kelly, where it's all mushrooms attacking everybody and, that kind of thing. And you can't get away from that. It's either humans or the mushrooms attacking everybody, and pretty much that's it. Yeah, you can do a great story with that, and they did. But this one allows for a much more expansive universe with a lot more storytelling and growth, I think.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think I prefer this one as well. So anyway, I wanted to get your feedback on that. And I must say, I'm pleasantly not surprised. I'm pleasantly aghast.
Flabbergasted. Yeah, you don't like anything.
There you go.
You're like that kid from Life Cereal.
Yeah.
No,
Which I can't remember.
I have a high bar, and Fallout figured out how to cross it.
Well, you have a bar. I don't know if it's high or sideways or perhaps ephemeral.
A little crooked. Yeah,
you're particular. I mean,
ephemeral.
you have particular
sine wave. I don't know.
Particular likes and dislikes, and you don't.
I'm refined.
You don't just accept stuff off the that isn't of decent quality. I appreciate that.
I feel personally attacked.
Now Rich has
shut your mouth.
I will.
Now, yeah, Rich has to
I
see
will.
it now.
I just got to find 9 hours to sit and watch it. That's all.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks
So
good.
by the time Rich does actually watch it, we won't care.
No,
Right. We'll be ready for season 2.
don't ask me about it again, and it'll all be good. I don't have to comment on everything.
No, I guess not.
No.
No, I suppose not.
But I do love Gladiator, and I hope that movie's good.
I
really
do
do.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
all right. And Kelly, you sure you don't want to talk about the other topic?
Nope.
You certain?
No, this is not the forum to talk about quantum mechanics.
You sure?
Oh, I don't see why not. I have deep interest in such things.
Yes.
Nikola Tesla.
All right. Well, we'll do it as our after show special, and we'll put it up as a
as a bonus episode.
Right.
Like
right.
Saturday
The
morning
science beyond the nerds.
Like Schoolhouse Rock.
So, all right, guys. Well, unless anyone has anything else they want to say. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for a very fulfilling and wondrous show. I appreciate you
This
all
concludes
so
our
much.
Speak
And I
Nerd
can't
and
wait to
Enter
see you next
broadcast.
time here on Speak Nerd Next.